Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation about stress. Brought to you by Devin, Angelo, Jacob, Ryder, and Luna. Jumping straight into a student stress statistic, 60% of students report feeling stressed every day. Every single day. That's a very significant number of students that are flooded with cortisol. Now, if we apply these statistics to Cal Poly Pomona, for those of you who don't know, we have about 27,000 students. That would mean that at least 16,000 CPP students experience stress. Now, if you have a hard time visualizing that, this is our Kellogg Arena, and its max capacity is 3,000 people. We would need over 5 of these to house the amount of CPP students who are drowning in cortisol. That's a lot of students. So, stress is definitely something that is prevalent among us and is worth talking about. Regardless if you don't experience stress like others do, there's a very high chance one of your classmates in this very room do. So keep that in mind. Here we are transitioning into talking about an interesting topic called stress contagion. Have you ever noticed that when you watch someone doing something stressful, you start feeling stressed too? For example, when you're watching people give presentations and they seem anxious, did you notice yourself feeling anxious too? This is because witnessing other people's stress can also increase our levels of cortisol. So essentially, when we stress, we can pass it on to others. And when others stress, they can pass it on to us. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, Cal Poly Pomona houses a lot of stressed students, so it's a feeding ground for stress contagion. Decreasing our stress levels will not only help us thrive in school, but it will also prevent us from spreading stress to other students. Now, after listening to all the information in this presentation, you can see how important it is to really try and manage stress when possible, so that we can live from a higher sense of well-being. We can do that by alleviating our fear response drive while also cultivating the calm and connection drive. And it's easy to give advice like, just don't care about what other people think, sleep 7 hours a day, or meditate every day. But it's often not that simple. Especially as college students, we have a lot of different responsibilities. Sometimes doing certain things just isn't feasible for us. But doing those little things that make us feel even a little better are very instrumental for decreasing stress. Without blame, shame, or judgment, of course, like Dr. Elaine would say.
This presentation is brought to you by Devin, our group researcher who helped provide stats and data, Angelo, who helped provide stories and was our video editor, Jacob, our group writer who created the conclusion, Ryder, a group writer who created the introduction, and Luna, who is our creative writer and editorial organizer. Now, you may be asking, what is stress? So stress is a feeling of physical and or emotional tension that occurs when someone perceives a demand or threat exceeding their ability to cope. Now, by hearing this definition, it may make you think that stress is an overall bad thing. And I'm here to tell you why stress is actually important. So stress, while often being perceived negatively, serves several purposes. It's a natural response that prepares the body to handle challenges and or threats, motivating action and improving performance. And the body's natural response to stress is actually cortisol, and cortisol is a hormone released by the adrenal glands that are a response to stress and help the body manage a fight or flight reaction by increasing blood sugar and energy availability. Now, when this cortisol balance is out of control, it can lead to high blood pressure, weakened immunity, digestive issues, sleep problems, anxiety, depression, and increased risk of heart disease. Over time, chronic stress can also impair memory, concentration, and overall well being.
Here are some data about stress in college students. In October of 2021, 843 college students were surveyed on what causes them the most stress in their lives. As many as 87% of these students cited education as their main cause of stress. In a survey conducted across 373 campuses worldwide, more than 60% of college students met the criteria for at least one mental health condition. Additionally, in a national survey, over 3/4 of students reported signs of moderate to severe psychological distress. Among these students, some reported that the distress was caused or influenced by an increase in workload, relationships, financial issues, and various forms of loss from the COVID-19 pandemic. Using a combination of the Perception of Academic Stress Scale and the Short Warwick-Annenberg Mental Well-Being Scale, studies showed that female, non-binary, and second-year college students experienced the highest levels of stress and the lowest mental health among all students. The gray bar in the graph represents the Perception of Academic Stress Scale, which is designed to assess sources of academic stress perceived by individuals. It measures three main academic stressors: academic expectations, workload and examinations, and academic self-perceptions of students. The scale is structured so that higher scores indicate lower levels of perceived stress. Scores range from 18 to 90, with higher scores reflecting better mental well-being. The white bar in the graph represents the Short Warwick-Annenberg Mental Well-Being Scale, a 7-item scale assessing positive mental well-being. Each item is rated on a 5-point Likert scale, and the total scores range from 7 to 35. And higher scores indicate better mental well-being.
I want to talk about how stress affected me without me even realizing it at first. There was a time when I thought I was just being lazy or unmotivated, but it turned out I was burnt out. I kept pushing myself to meet deadlines, attend every event, and stay on top of everything, but it started to wear me down mentally. I was tired all the time, snapping at people, and losing interest in things I used to enjoy. What helped me the most wasn't some big fix. It was learning how to recognize those small signs early and giving myself permission to slow down. Whether that meant taking a walk, journaling for 5 minutes, or saying no to one more responsibility, it added up. I'm still figuring it out, but just being honest about what I can handle has made a huge difference.
For the stress example, in our lives, we let things that have happened or might happen put a mental strain on our everyday life. At this point in our life, we struggle to figure out our identity and who we are as a person. We start to question ourselves and just create a sense of dread and insecurity. I think a common question for people this age is whether they are good enough. This could be relative, like asking if we're good enough for something or someone or ourselves. I feel like you get so caught up in questioning what's wrong with me externally instead of what's wrong with me internally. For me personally, I found myself in this position multiple times, and after a while, I kind of realized, like, damn, dude, I sound actually ridiculous. And then, yeah, and then you put it in comparison to like all the other problems in the world, like, damn, I sound so dramatic. So, yeah. In conclusion, stress is inevitable, but it is manageable. I think it's important to separate what you can and can't control in your life, so you really know like what's worth putting your attention towards. I also think you can't be so caught up in what did happen or what could happen, or you won't realize what is happening right now in your life, and like the moment could just slip away. So like, say like you're still haunted when you like fumbled all those years ago, and then like maybe you're thinking now like, damn, I'm so chopped. Like, what if I don't get married in the future and like my bloodline ends here? And like while you're thinking about that stuff, you're gonna miss out like on all the awesome stuff that's happening right now in the world. So in all, take time to stop and appreciate what's in front of you now because like you're never gonna get this time back, and you're gonna look back like, damn, why was I thinking all that? Why didn't I do this? So yeah, you never know.
Before we let you all go from the clutches of this very stressful presentation, we wanted to stress how important it is to manage stress. For those of you who have completely zoned out by now, you probably missed that joke. What a shame. But anyway, here are a few simple things you can all do to lower your stress levels. Of course, we know that what helps one person will be different from what helps another, so do what works for you. These are just suggestions. I do want to say though, when you feel yourself getting stressed, don't think of it as, oh, I'm super stressed, but it'll go away eventually. No, you have to be intentional about improving your stress. When you're feeling stressed, treat yourself with care, as you would if you had a common cold. Because guess what? Chronic stress is typically harder to recover from than a common cold anyway. So, we're all walking around campus with these stress colds, which are contagious by the way, and we're not doing anything to recover from them. So, please don't forget to do the things that make you happy. Please do it. Your body will thank you for it, and I'm sure everyone in my group would as well. Anyway, here is a list of our wonderfully stressed references. I'm sure you were all anxiously waiting to see these. And you've made it to the end of this presentation. We put a lot of hard work into this, so thank you all so much for being here and listening. I know a lot of you probably have places to be and things to study for since it is finals week, but you're all still here. So thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.